Monday, January 8. On this day, Germany will be the first to present its key statistics. At 9 a.m., the country will report on the trade balance. The latter is a combination of the balance of services, factor income, and current transfers reflected in the current account, which, in turn, is part of the balance of payments. Its impact on the euro exchange rate is rather limited. On the other hand, a growing trade surplus indicates a successful economy, which may have an impact on the exchange rate. At noon, the EU will present retail sales data. This is a measure of the change in sales of goods and services in the reporting month compared to the previous month. It includes all payments, as well as packaging and transportation costs. The more consumers spend, the higher the inflation rate and the more the economy grows. Thus, the growth of retail sales in the Eurozone may have a favorable impact on the euro. Tuesday, January 9th. On this day by 2:30 a.m., Australia will report retail sales. This is an indicator characterizing the level of consumer activity in the country. The growth of retail sales has a favorable impact on the economy. Therefore, the release of the report on retail sales may affect the quotations of the national currency. If the growth of retail sales slows down, it means that consumers have reduced their spending. This may lead to a decrease in economic activity in the country and negatively affect the Australian dollar. At noon, the European Union will reveal information on its unemployment rate, the number of unemployed people as a percentage of the total labor force in the region. The European Commission uses it when setting economic policy, and the ECB necessarily considers it when setting monetary policy. Rising unemployment rates tend to have a negative impact on the euro. Wednesday, January 10th. At 5:30 p.m., the United States will tell us about the EIA crude oil stocks change. This measure reflects the number of barrels of commercial crude oil held in storage by U.S. companies. An increase in the number of crude oil stocks in American warehouses indicates either a decrease in demand for raw materials or an increase in production. This has a negative impact on world oil prices, but the price change is short-lived. At 11:45 p.m., New Zealand will report building permits. A summary of licenses to erect residential and non-residential structures valued above $5,000 issued in the state. The data is seen as an indicator of confidence in the domestic economy, so building permits are also seen as a leading indicator of activity in the construction sector. Thursday, January 11th. Japan will release its leading index on Thursday at 7 a.m. It reflects fluctuations in important economic indicators in various economic activities such as production and employment, provides insight into the current state of the economy, and helps forecast future developments. An increase in the index is considered favorable for the economy and the national currency. At 3:30 p.m., the U.S. will inform us about the Consumer Price Index. It shows the change in weighted average prices for goods and services in the consumer basket in the reporting month compared to the previous month. Its growth traditionally has a positive impact on dollar quotes and indicates an increase in inflation. Friday, January 12th. At 9 a.m. on the last trading day of the week, the UK will report on manufacturing production. The indicator is one of the short-term indicators of the UK economy's development. It participates in the calculation of the country's GDP. Its growth may positively affect the pound sterling. Finally, at the same time, this country will inform us about the level of gross domestic product, the value of all goods and services produced in the UK in the reporting period compared to the previous one. The GDP calculation takes into account all the costs of goods produced and services provided within the country's economy. GDP growth can traditionally have a positive impact on the quotations of the national currency, the pound.